And it's no longer Mombasa to Nairobi. We now have it all the way to Naivasha. And among the conversations we will be having with other countries is how other countries beyond Kenya, Uganda, DRC, Congo-Brazzaville are also thinking about the same. How do we connect the East from the West? So other countries are also looking at what can they learn from Kenya and how can they be part of this great success.
What if we say that Kenya does not need Western partners for trade? Well, you might not believe it because, as we know, the West has kept African countries dependent. Free trade was only possible if African leaders appeased the West and got permission. However, things have changed for Kenya like never before. China is building a magnificent railway project worth $3.8 billion in Kenya to revolutionize the country. Not only will it be used for transportation, but to facilitate trade with Kenya's neighboring countries, going all the way to Europe. But why is this railway project so important that it has made the West nervous? How many countries does it cover, and what can it bring for Kenya and the whole of Africa? Let's find that out in this video. So, what is this Chinese-built railway in Kenya really? The railway being built in Kenya is called the Kenya Standard Gauge Railway, which is one of the biggest in Africa. Spanning a length of 3,800 kilometers, this railway is designed to connect not only Kenyan cities but also countries in the region. The railway includes various phases, each tailored to address specific objectives and have distinct impacts on the nation's economy and society. Dating back to the colonial era, the idea of a modern railway system in Kenya began with the construction of the Kenya-Uganda Railway by the British in the late 19th century. However, over time, the outdated and inefficient meter-gauge railway system became a hindrance, prompting the Kenyan government to launch the ambitious SGR project. This initiative aimed to overcome transportation challenges and unlock new avenues for economic growth and development. The SGR project progresses through several phases, each focusing on different segments of the railway network. The initial phase involved building the Mombasa-Nairobi railway line, which spans about 609 kilometers. Completed in 2017, this section significantly reduced travel time and costs between the port city of Mombasa and the capital, Nairobi. The Mombasa-Nairobi section represents a significant advancement in transportation infrastructure and is equipped with modern amenities, such as a standard gauge track and an electrified railway system. Expanding upon the success of the first phase, efforts moved inland with the construction of the Nairobi-Naivasha section. Covering approximately 120 kilometers, this extension links Nairobi with Naivasha, a crucial hub for trade and commerce. Operationalized in 2018, the Nairobi-Naivasha section enhances connectivity within Kenya's heartland, facilitating the movement of goods and people across the region. Looking beyond Naivasha, the SGR project includes plans for additional phases and extensions to further expand the railway network. Proposed expansions, like the Naivasha-Kisumu section and the Kisumu-Malaba section, aim to strengthen Kenya's connections with neighboring nations and promote regional integration and trade. But why has this railway become a nightmare for the West? Well, that's because it makes Kenya more independent, allowing it to trade with a broader network of partners. It's not only being used for transportation but for trade as well. Therefore, it does not remain merely a railway, but a tool for Kenya's independent trade. The West cannot bear this, as it is habitual to want African countries to be dependent. But this time, things have changed. The Kenya Standard Gauge Railway project embodies the nation's drive to modernize its transportation infrastructure and stimulate economic growth. Importantly, it is integrated into the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, China's extensive strategy to bolster connectivity and foster economic collaboration among nations spanning Asia, Africa, and Europe. Kenya's involvement in the BRI underscores the strategic importance of the SGR in advancing regional integration and trade. Engaging with the BRI presents Kenya with numerous advantages. Firstly, the SGR project aligns with the broader objectives of the initiative, which seek to enhance infrastructure connectivity and catalyze economic development along the Silk Road, Economic Belt, and 21st Century Maritime Silk Road. By improving transportation links through projects like the SGR, Kenya can seamlessly integrate into global supply chains, attracting investment and boosting its economic autonomy and competitiveness on a global scale. Furthermore, the BRI affords Kenya access to an extensive network of participating countries, enabling the expansion of trade relationships and the diversification of export markets. As a critical component of the BRI framework, the SGR positions Kenya as a central hub in the evolving global economic landscape, augmenting its geopolitical significance and influence. The BRI's escalating influence in Kenya has sparked concerns among Western powers, who regard the initiative with suspicion. The West's apprehension about Kenya's deepening engagement with the BRI stems from fears surrounding China's expanding influence in Africa and the potential geopolitical ramifications of the initiative. Historically, Western powers have dominated global economic institutions and dictated terms of international trade and development assistance. The emergence of alternative frameworks like the BRI challenges this hegemony, granting countries such as Kenya greater autonomy in shaping their development trajectories. This shift unsettles Western actors accustomed to maintaining control of global affairs. Moreover, the BRI represents a departure from the traditional Western approach to development assistance, which often comes with stringent conditions and demands for political and economic reforms. In contrast, China's involvement through the BRI offers a more adaptable and inclusive cooperation model, prioritizing infrastructure development and economic integration without imposing ideological or governance-related prerequisites. As a flagship initiative under the BRI, the SGR embodies principles of mutual benefit and cooperation. By delivering crucial infrastructure investment and facilitating trade, the SGR supports Kenya's socio-economic advancement while fostering stronger ties with China and other BRI partners. By embracing the opportunities presented by the BRI, Kenya asserts its aspirations for economic independence and self-determination. The SGR project represents a significant stride towards charting a prosperous future, free from the constraints imposed by traditional Western actors. And the West does not want it. It does not want African countries to understand the benefits China offers, so they only rely on the West. But this era is over now. African countries are more than capable of choosing partners who offer benefits rather than exploit them. But what benefits does the railway bring to Kenya? For most people, the Kenya Standard Gauge Railway is just an ordinary railway project. Well, once they know how it can completely change Kenya, it becomes the center of attention. This railway represents the most ambitious transportation infrastructure initiative in the nation's history since achieving independence. Engineered to enhance domestic and international transportation operations, the project seeks to stimulate development and foster economic growth in line with the objectives outlined in Kenya Vision 2030. Phase 1 of the SGR, spanning from Mombasa to Nairobi, was completed in May 2017 and is now fully operational, boasting 14 freight and 4 passenger trains. Notably, the Nairobi-Mombasa SGR has already exceeded its container transportation target for 2025, accomplishing an 8-year goal in just 1 year, which is an impressive achievement indeed. With such unparalleled success, the positive impacts of the SGR on the Kenyan economy are expected to materialize swiftly, potentially achieving its aim to increase the country's GDP by 1.5% sooner than anticipated. Here's a reminder to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and identity. Let's continue now. The benefits of the SGR to the Kenyan economy are diverse, with job creation being paramount. The project has generated a multitude of employment opportunities, ranging from individuals in the construction sector to the 2,285 professionals stationed at the 33 stations and operating within the passenger and cargo rolling stock. Additionally, the demand for goods and services by SGR employees and passengers presents entrepreneurial prospects, such as catering and entertainment, creating indirect jobs and stimulating economic activity through increased spending. Moreover, the SGR has catalyzed increased industrialization, offering significant opportunities for construction-related industries. The demand for materials like cement, steel, stone, aggregates, and glass, which are crucial for constructing railway lines and stations, has surged, driving growth in this sector. With enhanced goods transportation and expanded market access through a new network of trading routes, the groundwork is laid for the proliferation of manufacturing and processing facilities across various sectors, including agriculture, forestry, fishing, and mining. At present, transportation expenses for goods imported and exported in East Africa constitute 40% of total cargo charges. However, the implementation of the new railway line has led to a significant decrease in transportation costs, primarily due to economies of scale. A single train can now transport 216 20-foot containers in one trip, a task that would typically require 108 trucks. Additionally, travel time has been reduced, and common issues like accidents and cargo theft associated with road transport have been mitigated, resulting in an overall reduction in the cost of conducting business. What's more, the construction of the SGR is anticipated to foster the development of trading centers at each of its 33 stations and revitalize economic activities in existing towns. With Kenya's economy structured around markets, establishing these centers will stimulate growth across crucial sectors such as agriculture, manufacturing, tourism, and financial services. All the regions around the railway will get a chance to urbanize, creating new cities and markets. In turn, this will bring tourists. Tourism plays a significant role in contributing to the country's GDP, and the completion of the SGR comes at a pivotal moment, particularly amidst declining international arrivals due to security concerns. Although the coastal region has traditionally been a popular destination for local tourists, challenges associated with road travel have hindered the full realization of its domestic tourism potential. However, introducing a cost-effective, comfortable, fast, and secure mode of transportation to Mombasa has led to a surge in domestic and international tourists visiting the region. The biggest advantage that Kenya can reap is to strengthen regional trade. Given Kenya's proximity to 3 landlocked countries, Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi, efficient clearance at the Mombasa port, combined with reduced transportation costs and expedited delivery of goods, will position the country as the preferred entry point and export route for these nations, positively impacting the economy. In other words, Kenya will become a trade hub for Africa. But what's the propaganda that the West has started against the railway? It's interesting to see that the whole of the West cannot tolerate a railway being built in an African country. Well, that's because it's the first step toward an African country being totally free from the Western world when it comes to trade. In recent years, Kenya's standard gauge railway project has garnered significant international attention, especially from Western nations. This scrutiny has been driven by a narrative propagated by certain Western media outlets and political commentators, portraying the SGR as a debt trap engineered by China to extend its influence over Kenya and other African countries. However, a more thorough examination reveals a complex reality that challenges the oversimplified depiction of Chinese exploitation and underscores the complexities of Africa's relationships with both the West and China. The concern about the SGR being a debt trap revolves around the substantial loans acquired by the Kenyan government from China to finance the project. Critics argue that these loans, amounting to a significant portion of Kenya's GDP, could burden the country with unsustainable debt, ultimately leading to economic dependency on China. Moreover, there are fears that China might exploit this debt to exert political influence over Kenya, potentially compromising its sovereignty. Well, this propaganda gets dissolved after knowing that China has never done this. That's the habit of only the Western countries. If China starts using debt as a tool to control countries, none of its projects will work, and it won't be able to work with hundreds of countries on projects like BRI. Simply put, reputation is China's most valuable thing that allows it to collaborate. Therefore, it will never risk it by using debts as a tool to control countries and collapse its multi-trillion-dollar projects. Additionally, China has consistently emphasized the principle of mutual benefit in its engagements with African countries, including Kenya. Unlike traditional Western aid and investment models, often accompanied by conditions aimed at advancing Western interests, China's approach prioritizes win-win cooperation. African nations are granted agency in determining their development priorities, with China providing support in infrastructure, trade, and investment areas. Despite these assurances, the West has intensified efforts to depict China's involvement in Africa, including the SGR project, as detrimental to the continent's interests. Well, the West has no authority to decide or dictate what's good for Africa and what's bad. Those days are over now. European colonizers, who controlled and exploited African territories for centuries, rarely prioritized investments in local infrastructure or development projects beneficial to African populations. Instead, colonial powers focused on resource extraction and labor exploitation, perpetuating cycles of poverty and dependency among African communities. In this context, China's emergence as a significant player in Africa signifies a paradigm shift in the continent's relations with the rest of the world. China's willingness to invest in infrastructure projects like the SGR offers African countries an alternative to aid-dependent models imposed by Western donors. By providing essential infrastructure and investment without political conditions, China empowers African nations to pursue their development agendas and chart their paths to prosperity. So, how is the Belt and Road Initiative helping Kenya keep the West in check? In recent years, Kenya has seen remarkable improvements in its people's lives following the successful implementation of the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, proposed by China. This initiative has not only attracted numerous Chinese investors to Kenya, but has also provided hundreds of young Kenyan students with opportunities to study in China, many of them on scholarships. Experts widely recognize the pivotal role that the BRI has played in accelerating the adoption of Chinese technology tailored to address local challenges in Kenya and other African countries. Chinese firms have been instrumental in constructing ports and railway lines, modernizing airports in Kenya over the past decade, and driving business activities to meet the growing demands of various industries. According to Peter Kagwanja, CEO of the Africa Policy Institute, Kenya's business and service sectors have rapidly benefited from the improved infrastructure facilitated by the BRI. The introduction of the Standard Gauge Railway, SGR, has particularly transformed travel between Nairobi and Mombasa, making it convenient and affordable for tourists and commuters alike. Since its launch, the SGR has seen significant usage, transporting millions of passengers and tons of cargo annually. Additionally, projects like the Nairobi Expressway, built by Chinese contractors, have relieved traffic congestion in Kenya's capital, showcasing the effectiveness of public-private partnerships in addressing infrastructure challenges. This has not only enhanced transportation efficiency, but has also spurred economic growth along key trade routes. What's more, the BRI has facilitated a substantial exchange of knowledge and skills between Chinese experts and their Kenyan counterparts. Through collaborations with Chinese firms, Kenya has embraced modern technology and innovative approaches to development projects, resulting in efficient execution of infrastructure projects. Moreover, the BRI has fueled the growth of Kenya's digital economy, improving internet connectivity, modernizing telecommunications systems, and promoting e-commerce platforms. Partnerships between Chinese tech giant Huawei and local companies like Safaricom have led to groundbreaking innovations in mobile money transfer systems, empowering businesses and consumers alike. Chinese investment in Konza Technopolis, Kenya's technology city, further underscores the commitment to bolstering Kenya's digital infrastructure and positioning it as a hub for technological innovation in Africa. In the agricultural sector, China's support has played a crucial role in modernizing Kenya's agricultural practices, increasing productivity, and addressing food insecurity. Collaborative efforts between Chinese and Kenyan institutions have facilitated the exchange of knowledge and technology, resulting in advancements in seed breeding, disease control, and sustainable farming practices. Additionally, the establishment of the Sino-Africa Joint Research Center at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology has been pivotal in fostering collaborations aimed at enhancing food security and environmental sustainability in Kenya. Through joint research endeavors, significant progress has been made in increasing crop productivity and developing resilient agricultural systems tailored to local conditions. Collaboration between China and Kenya to such an extent has already kept the West at a distance. The West now knows that African countries like Kenya cannot be exploited anymore because they have witnessed true win-win relations. Despite all the propaganda, the railway in Kenya is being built, and some sections of it have been functional for years. Now, other African countries can see what China can offer. They can learn that when agreements are made while keeping the common people in focus, projects and infrastructure completely change the fate of the nation. These successful projects act as proof against Western propaganda that collaborating with China means falling into a trap. What do you think? Should more African countries collaborate with China and benefit from the Belt and Road Initiative? Isn't it true that Kenya can connect with the rest of the world and trade easily with this railway project? In the comments section right below, share your thoughts on what Kenya should do to take full advantage of the railway. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If so, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on something nobody talks about: the Black culture, civilization, history, and evidence about how glorious Blacks have been. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.